Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash, Barakatam. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to be using an article today on the aptly titled endoftheamericandream.com, and the title reads, "Shocking new studies find that America's young people are overweight, unhealthy, suicidal, and addicted to alcohol and drugs." And this is just a sign of the times that we're at the end of the rulership of America, also known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures. After reading the information contained in this article, you will probably find yourself questioning if America is going to be able to survive for much longer, which it won't if you understand these scriptures. You clearly can see that there's going to be no Make America Great Again. It's been ordained by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to bring this final kingdom down because it's just about served its purpose. Because our young people are a complete and total mess. Yes, all generations of Americans have had their problems, but this generation appears to be particularly screwed up. Obesity rates are at an all-time high. A third of all American teens have not read a single book within the past year, and the average high school senior spends 6 hours a day on the internet. On top of all that, we are seeing unprecedented levels of suicide, drug overdoses, and liver disease due to heavy drinking among our young people. Salak. Like other empires throughout world history, will we be undone by our own excesses? And yes, you will, but first and foremost, it's through the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And this brings me to my first precept in Isaiah chapter 19, verse 14. Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, such as high suicide rates, high alcohol and drug use, high obesity rates, and just general stupidity amongst these young Americans. Because if you look at education lists around the world, America is pretty much at the bottom in all categories such as reading, mathematics, and science. And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. And as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8, these Americans are the spiritual Egyptians, or the modern day Egyptians, whom this is referring to. And you can just see that America's on its last leg. It doesn't have the same power it used to back in the day. It can't bully around nations like it used to. You've got even these other nations starting to talk shit to the Americans. America's propaganda system doesn't work anymore. People can see through the fake news of the mainstream media, and that left-hand energy that the elites have been using to control the masses is just leaving them. Just a further sign that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is about to foreclose on this place. Oh yeah, and also, look at the economy. We're on the verge of the greatest depression that's just going to completely tank this American economy. So if you're thinking about making a future in this place, you better wake up from that dream, as this website is called, endoftheamericandream.com. Let's start by talking about obesity. At this point, so many of our young people are overweight that military recruiters are having a very difficult time finding enough suitable candidates for military service. And not just are these young Americans dumb, but their parents are dumb as well. A lot of them honestly can't see that fast food's unhealthy for you. I know some people that think ingredients or the meats at fast food places are just natural ingredients that they haven't been tampered with in any way. The study, featuring roughly 18,000 randomly selected participants across each of the service branches, showed that almost 66% of service members are considered to be either overweight or obese based on the military's use of body mass index as a measuring standard. And this is a reason why that American military is just going to get destroyed in this coming World War III. You've got overweight soldiers, and you've got transgenders now allowed to be in the military. The other armies of this of the earth just look at America as a complete joke. And this is probably one of the reasons why they're talking about opening the draft to American females, because they need to at least get some more bodies in there, because the bodies they have now are overweight and unhealthy. While the number of overweight service members is a cause for concern, it correlates with the obesity epidemic plaguing the United States, where as of 2015, 1 in 3 young adults are considered too fat to enlist, creating a difficult environment for recruiters to find suitable candidates for military service. Right now, obesity among U.S. adults is at an all-time high, that perverse spirit getting mingled among the Egyptians, and one of the big reasons for this is because about 1/3 of us are stuffing our faces with fast food on a daily basis, and this correlates with the high depression rate among Americans, which is leads to suicides as well as drug use, because America it breaks anybody that lives in it down, because it's just folly left and right. The following comes from ABC News. A government study has found 1 in 3 U.S. adults eat fast food on any given day. That's about 85 million people. It's the first federal study to look at how often adults eat fast food. An earlier study found a similar proportion of children and adolescents ate it on any given day. It's just complete madness. I was absolutely stunned when I saw it. 85 million people a day are eating fast food. No wonder we have such a problem. Another brand new study found that 1/3 of all American teenagers haven't read a single book in the past year, further showing that perverse spirit mingled among the Egyptians. The majority of these, not just these young Americans, but these older Americans out here, are just morons. Because, yes, you can get a lot of good information from the internet watching videos, but to get into the real nitty-gritty, it's much better to read books on it, because you get more of a detail in it, and you get a more expansive amount of information in it. And also, there have been studies to show that your neural paths in your brain are strengthened by reading words instead of watching videos. A new study of American teenagers and their reading habits finds that 1/3 haven't read a book in hard copy or on a device like a Kindle in the past year. Researchers from San Diego State University took a look at data from 4 decades of nationally based lifestyle surveys studying teens. StudyFinds.com reports. In total, more than 1 million teens provided information. Skip that right there. Skip about that. Sadly, instead of reading books, our high school seniors are spending on an average of 6 hours a day on social media, texting, gaming, and surfing the web. And I'll admit this is something I got to work on too, because I spend a lot of time on the internet, but I try to spend it learning, which the majority of these Americans don't use the internet for. They use it for, as it said, social media, texting, and gaming, and just looking up folly. And with this, it also it's like a vicious circle. It leads into the high obesity rate, because you've got these people not exercising or moving around and just sitting in front of the computer for most of the day eating junk food. The meteoric rise of internet-based activities cannot be understated. Between social media, texting, gaming, and surfing the web, the average high school senior spent 6 hours a day online in 2016, double the time from a decade earlier. 8th graders, 4 hours a day, and 10th graders, 5 hours a day, didn't lag far behind, the report finds. Skip that. I'll start here. In addition to everything that you have read so far, let me also share with you some numbers from a recent CDC study. According to the CDC, or Center for Drug Control, I believe, drug overdose rates among our young people have been absolutely soaring. Further, that perverse spirit among men ages 25 to 35, overdose rates rose by more than 25% each year between 2014 and 2016. And while they're not really given a the percentages among races, you know this is majorly affecting you Edomites, the so-called white people, because you can see with your eyes and feel in your spirit that your kingdom's going down. So since you're naturally weaker than the Israelites, which are so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're turning more and more to drugs and alcohol and suicide. And also just in general, being a man in America is very vexing, because pretty much everything's rigged against you in this feminist-based society. Nearly 50 out of every 100,000 people in the population died of overdose-related causes by 2016. Women ages 45 to 54 had the most overdoses overall, but those ages 15 to 24 saw the highest rate of increase, about a 19% jump per year between 2014 and 2016. And while this is a feminine-based society, these women aren't having an easy go at it either, because these women aren't in their natural environment being feminine. They're trying to be like men, which is leading to a high increase in use of antidepressants among women. I know more women than I should that are around my age and a little bit older that are on antidepressants. And the CDC also found that liver disease due to heavy drinking is rapidly rising among young adults. Liver disease replaced HIV as the sixth leading killer of adults ages 25 to 44 in 2016. Among men and women ages 25 to 34, deaths from liver disease and cirrhosis increased by about 11% and 8% per year, respectively, between 2006 and 2016. Older adults, however, still die of liver disease at much higher rates than young adults. And it's sickening when you look back on your childhood, because I'm not that old, in your teenage years, because you can see through the movies that what was pushed most in those movies for young teens is sex, drugs, and alcohol, showing that it's a hell of a time. And I mean, that's at that point when your body's going through its most development, which is messing you up the most, showing that this place needs to go, because all it creates is folly. But the most tragic fact from the entire study is that suicide is now the second leading cause of death for Americans from ages 15 to age 24. Suicide is now the second leading cause of deaths among people ages 15 to 24, increasing by 7% in this group each year between 2014 and 2016. It's also the third leading cause of death among people ages 25 to 44, killing almost 17% of every 100,000 people in this population in 2016. Whether you like it or not, young people are the future of our country. Yes, our country is a huge mess today, but what is it going to look like when it becomes the leaders of tomorrow? Which don't expect these young Americans to become the leaders of tomorrow, because America, also known as Babylon the Great, is not going to last that much longer. In order for a nation to be great, it needs to be made up of great people, and at this moment, it is very difficult to be optimistic about the future of our nation. So as you can see, America's on its last leg, and it's not going to last for too much longer. So brothers, this should be uplifting to your spirit just to see this wicked kingdom go down, and our enemies, chiefly the Edomites, the so-called white people, get a taste of their own medicine. I'm going to close it off with a few more scriptures. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And while 2/3 are still getting affected by these curses, you're starting to see these other nations, chiefly these Edomites, get affected, which is leading to all these afflictions on them, such as high obesity rates, high uses of drugs and alcohol, and high suicide rates. And this, I'm going to close it off on Deuteronomy 28, verse 28. Yahweh shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And he's smiting these Edomites, or so-called white people, with it, which is causing them to turn to alcohol and drugs and commit suicide, because, as I said earlier, these Edomites aren't as strong as you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and buckle under pressure. So brothers, again, just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of here. So I'm going to say a Baba Ball, Kwam Yasharala. Until next time, Shalom.